if you're buying or selling an EMC solution, one of the things you need to make absolutely certain of is that you're going to be able to have your solution supported by EMC. So if you're a reseller, it's your insurance policy. So if the customer tries to kick your ass over something that's not working, and you know you've done all the due diligence, then you can push back on the vendor, push back on the customer, and basically point them in the direction of EMC support. Whereas if you haven't done that, effectively you're pretty exposed. So this is the Elab. The Elab is effectively a direct line into EMC's interoperability lab in the States, where they test a veritable feast of various infrastructure components, servers, switches, HBAs, operating systems, the works, with their storage, with their products, to make sure that they can say hand on heart, we'll support this, we know it works. So I'm going to take you through the wizard. Sorry, the web address here is elabnavigator.emc.com. Make sure you're signed up to PowerLink. So that's powerlink.emc.com. Register yourself. Within 24 hours, you get all your details. Use those credentials to sign into Elab. So it takes you to this screen here. Log in, use your PowerLink credentials. So this is the wizard. Now, it takes you through the various steps. There's a few wizards, various things that you might want to check support on. Here we'll just go for storage array wizard. So Mr. Reseller is looking to sell a storage array to a customer who has a particular requirement. He's running with the CX4, needs to know what switches to use, needs to know what's supported with with an operating system with a particular server that the customer might have. So a number of storage arrays stated in here. So obviously EMC's new Solera has fiber channel capability, so that's included all the way back to the old Data General boxes, the FC series, which EMC acquired, through to each generation. Even the small sort of AX100s, AX4 boxes are all included. So we specify the topology we're going to use, the protocols we're going to use. So we're going to use fiber channel switched here. Obviously you can specify FCOE, IP, standard fiber, and the switches we're going to use for connectivity. So large number of switches here, all the way from your baby QLogics up to your Cisco bad boy directors, and EMC's OEM versions of the Brocade switches, the old McData switches, a number of other bits and pieces. So in this case we'll go with the Brocade 5100. It's a current switch, it's relevant, people are buying it. And now we need to look at the operating system, which we're going to be provisioning storage to. So in this case we've gone with VMware ESXi for 3.5 and version 4, or vSphere. And the server model we've chosen is pretty standard box. A lot of people are using it, the DL380G5. So obviously a number of server vendors, a number of very specific models here. On the IBM screen, obviously you've got a list as long as your arm, the various iterations of various servers. If you're using fiber channel, you need host bus adapters for connectivity to your fiber switches, whatever else. So we've got Emulex, QLogic, Brocade, the main players, and all the OEM partners they have. Dell, QLogic, Dell, IBM, HP, the likes of. So we'll go with the 1150 Emulex switch, light pulse, and get results. So this will effectively generate a series of support statements, results around this configuration we've just specified. So we can either click on each piece in solitude if we want to look at support statements in particular around host BIOS support, switch fabric support, whatever. We can do that. We can look at them all together by clicking on combined results, or you can specify just the bits you want to see. So in this case I'll go to I just want switch fabric, fiber connectivity. That's all I want to look at in this case. Submit that, it will generate a report for me. Take a few moments because it's having to talk to that big old clunky database over in the States where they run all this stuff through. You might see this pop up a few times, but it's worth waiting. So here's a summary of everything we've configured. Here's the so ESXi 3.5 is clearly supported in this case. Some considerations around vSphere not being on there. probably to come pretty quickly. So you'll see here all the various facets of the solution you've configured, and all the comments and the caveats around it being supported in superscript here. So EMC don't really have to account for guest operating system support, but they've included a link to the OS guide on the VMware site in here, so you can see what is supported, minimum firmware revisions, and on the storage, so Flare, and on the switch, and certain things you can and can't do. So if you look down here as well, so here's a bit more depth around switches which supported, which will talk with other various switches, supported interoperable firmware, maximum number of domains, maximum number of hops, all good techie stuff, but good to have a note of. And it'll give you important details, things like NPIV must be enabled on the switch, that kind of stuff. So that's in a nutshell the wizard view. You can do all this and configure all this in the advanced view, and all this information are in the PDFs and guides, so your big old 200-page documents which cover off all of this in one document. I'm going to leave it at that now. I don't want to flood your mind too much, but yeah, I'll keep them coming. Thanks for listening.